What's going on, everybody? Tanner here with another video. Hope you're all having an amazing and productive day so far. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a case study on a recent e-commerce brand that I've been working on and what kind of results I've been able to generate using only Facebook ads in the last 14 days. So right here on the store is where it's at so far for today, and it is still the morning, so this number is going to increase gradually throughout the day. But if we go to yesterday, I did a little over $5,000 in sales, and it's consistently been sitting around there and making some good returns. But I'm now starting to scale it a little bit more with the ads. I'll show you the ad account here in a second. So if you guys want to see the results of me scaling this store and what I'm doing with the ads in a full breakdown video, make sure you leave a like and comment below of what you want to see, and I'll make sure to make it happen and keep you guys updated on the journey. So I'm going to refresh the ad account right now so you can see this is just as clean as it gets. There's no filters or anything on. This is just the ad account and what it's done in the last 14 days. So we spent a little over $15,000 and brought back over 67 in revenue with an average 4.34 ROAS. So this is actually a client of mine for ad management where they pay me to scale their ads and I take a percentage of the profit. And this is where we're at so far. Before, she was sitting at an average 1 to 2 ROAS, doing a couple of grand a day, which is, not terrible. She was still profitable. You can see some of these cost per purchases here are pretty high, but still, profitable with a good ROAS. So we're going to be talking about how we're able to do that with this store and how this e-commerce brand differs from just a normal dropshipping store. And there's a lot of variables that have to do with it, and all of the things combined result with what we're seeing right here, with this ROAS. And this ROAS, I know I can get it a lot higher. Just testing some new things right now. You can see some of these campaigns have a lower ROAS and some of the ad sets within these campaigns. But let's now talk about this brand itself, how this thing works, and how it's able to get these kind of numbers by using Facebook ads compared to a normal dropshipping store. Now, there's really one main variable that differs this from a normal dropshipping store, and that's gonna be that this store actually has inventory. They have a warehouse owned where they have inventory and they ship out directly from their warehouse to customers all around the world. And basically what that means is that they don't have a supplier where, quality can be bad and issues can happen a lot more. You have exact control of everything going on. You're in control of the quality of the product, how it's being sent out, how it's being packaged, and all of those things lead to a happier customer than just a normal dropshipping store where you send a product from China, it takes multiple weeks, and a customer is getting a package that's, maybe not the best looking, and it's not branded at all, and maybe the product sometimes just comes messed up or it's the wrong size, whatever the issue is, and that can lead to all kinds of issues with your store, whether that's your payment processors because you're getting chargebacks, or they don't want you to process because you're shipping from China when they want to make sure that their banks are safe by having you ship directly from the United States or wherever your customer is closest. So having inventory is a bigger upfront cost for a store, but if you start out drop shipping and you're starting to see good results, it most definitely makes sense to reinvest your profits into getting inventory and switching that, because that'll be able to help you scale a lot more successfully than scaling just with a drop shipping store, unless you actually have the right systems in place with good suppliers, good quality control, and that this is a good product and customers are enjoying it and it's getting to them in a reasonable amount of time, because it's somewhat hard nowadays. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's a lot more difficult than it used to be to get people to buy from a drop shipping store than several years ago, just because you have companies like Amazon where you can have things delivered to your house within just a couple of days. So it's hard to compete with that, but if you use some different tactics on your store and your ads, then you'll get customers to pretty much impulse buy. And now having inventory in-house definitely is a bigger cost up front, but it could save you a lot more money, honestly, than drop shipping one by one. Because when you're working with a supplier in China, you're not really guaranteeing them, that you're gonna buy 1,000 units, 10,000 units, whatever it may be. You're going one by one, so they're gonna be charging you a higher rate than if you were to buy 2,000 units, from the factory itself and have those at your own warehouse and ship them at your disposal. So order by order, you're gonna be saving money when you do actually have inventory, but I would not recommend this unless you have some consistent sales, a track record, and know what you're doing. If you're starting your first ever store, I wouldn't recommend it, because I did that. I started a dropshipping store and made about 30K in sales several years ago and bought inventory, And then that inventory has just been sitting in my parents' house for years now, just because I never sold it. I had no idea what I was doing. The product stopped selling, and you're left with inventory. So you want to make sure you have a track record, you know what you're doing, and can continue to sell these products. And one of the main factors that's allowed me to scale this store so far and keep a consistent 4 to 5 ROAS compared to like a normal dropshipping store, you're gonna start scaling it and see your ROAS start to dip a little bit, just because you have some new tests on, and it's gonna sort of drown out the overall ROAS day by day until you sort of fine tune what you've launched and get it to like what you would call like a lean point where it's running profitably. And that factor that I want to talk about is having multiple products with high margins dollar-wise. So typically you'll see a dropshipper find a product where they're selling it for 50 bucks and it costs them 20 to 30. Now it sounds good, you have like a $20 margin, that's good, but realistically you're gonna have like a $5 to $10 cost per purchase and a lot of orders to consistently make a lot of profit, which is not the easiest thing to do compared to having a product where you use perceived value. Like this is a luxury brand that I'm running right here, so you're using perceived value in your ads and on your store to sell a product that is quality, but also selling it for a pretty high amount compared to what it costs. These products that she's selling are costing her a tiny fraction, like probably about 10% of what they sell for, and that's with packaging and everything included. So the margins are there dollar-wise. That means if she's selling something for $100, then that means it's only gonna cost $10 for her to fulfill it, which is an incredible margin. So your cost per purchase can fluctuate, whether it's $5 or $50, you're still gonna be profitable. And when you have multiple items on your store, people are gonna buy them. I always make sure people do that when I'm working with them, because if you just have one winning product, you come to me and we start working on ads together, it could be making a lot of sales and be very profitable, but it doesn't make sense to not have other products that are similar on your store, because people are gonna buy them no matter what. And those extra sales aren't really costing you anything extra because you're not running ads to them. Obviously you can, because if you're running similar products, like what we're doing with this store is, I'm taking data from these main products that are selling and using that data to test these other products on the store. And then once I see the results from those, it all just sort of collects, and that's how we scale this store. So that's what I'm moving towards more and more with this client specifically. And you should definitely always have multiple products on the store that are similar, just because it doesn't cost you anything else. And there are things you can do that we are doing as well, which are like bundles. So we're using different bundles on product pages for the main products that are selling to combine different types of things that pretty much work together and are similar. And it's not just like you're doing an upsell where if you're selling a water bottle here, you're just trying to sell them 2 of them. Most of the time people only want 1 water bottle. There's no point for them to get another one, even at a low discount. But if you have another product that can sort of go hand in hand with it, then they can have 2 great items at a great deal, and using perceived value is really all it is. Now, as far as the Facebook ads actually go for this store itself, I most definitely want to do a deeper dive into everything. If you guys want to see that, just let me know by leaving a like and comment on this video of what you want to see and learn specifically about the Facebook ads that I'm running. But I would say the main thing that I'm focusing on is really zoning in on the specific locations of these products that I'm running. So, typically I'm starting out with cold traffic always. And I start diving into slowly different types of pixel-based lookalikes. And most of the times I'm starting off with just one country. So for this client specifically, I started off only in the United States. And then I started to test a little bit more outside, like Australia and the United Kingdom right now are pretty good. Canada obviously is a good country you can make sales from, but right now shipping is just very expensive to get into there for the most part, where it's not really worth it the most time. But testing these other countries over the last week has shown me some pretty good results. And as those new campaigns have been collecting results and data, I've been zoning in on the campaigns that already have lots of data within the United States and looking specifically at what states are performing the best, and then specifically targeting those states. So obviously your audience size is gonna be a little bit smaller, but it's like any other type of breakdown with Facebook ads. If you're targeting only the United States, but you have 5 states that are generating most of the sales, your campaigns are still gonna be spending money in the rest of the states that aren't making you sales. So if you cut out, that fatty part, pretty much is what you would call it, just because it's not working, and focusing in on the lean side of things, the things that are making sales, then in theory, it should be much more profitable. Now, that isn't always the case, but it's something good to test. And with this store, with having multiple different winning products that we're running right now, you know, the opportunities are sort of endless. There's so many things that you can do. So I know the term never put all your eggs in one basket is used, you know, pretty broad, like don't just have one business, have multiple income streams. But also the same thing, if you have a store that's doing really well with one winning product, why not go ahead and put in the little bit of extra time? You could even pay someone, if you don't think it's worth your time, to test other similar products by putting them on the store and having them from there. So obviously having inventory is a little bit different with testing new products and seeing how it is, but this client has a good relationship with her different suppliers, and we're able to get units in. And since they are so cheap, you know, even buying 50 to 100 units is not gonna be a big deal at all. It's just reinvesting a little bit of the profits that she's making on the daily and putting that into, you know, a new investment, which is just a product test. So you most definitely can scale a dropshipping store. I've done it multiple times before, but you're just gonna run into a lot more issues than as if you were running an actual brand where they have inventory, the quality is controlled, and you know, everything is in the own company's hands. With dropshipping, you know, the main part of dropshipping or any business where you sell online is, you know, the product or service that you're delivering. So, you know, that main piece is not in your hands when you're dropshipping. So you can still do it, you can make it happen, but having inventory in-house is gonna be a much better bet for the most part if you wanna scale and not have any issues. So I'm gonna continue to scale the store. I'm about to put in a session right now of a couple of hours, launching some new things and getting things good to go, because this is one of my main clients at the moment. I see a lot of potential here. I'm excited to see where we can take this brand and, you know, continue to make it millions and millions more of dollars. So I've gone over everything that I wanted to, which is pretty much just showing you the behind the scenes of what it takes to, you know, turn a dropshipping store into an actual brand, and what the main differences are and how the results can differentiate by having all of these things in place as an actual brand instead of just a normal dropshipping store. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a big like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.